Let's. You told me you play in open tunings.
Hmm.
So can you tell people a little bit about kind of how open tunings are different than the standard tuning on a guitar?
Sure, sure. An open tuning generally refers to a technique where you change the tuning of the guitar away from what is generally referred to as standard tuning. Standard tuning, in other words, is kind of the default tuning that people generally use on the guitar. So when you retune to an open tuning, what you're doing is changing the pitch that strings are tuned to form an open chord when you strum the guitar with no fingers down. So for example, I'll tune my low string down, and then I'll tune my fifth string down, and finally my high string. So now I have what's referred to as an open G tuning, which means I can strum the guitar with no fingers down and form an open chord rather than actually having to fret something to play a chord.
That's an open G tuning then.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what are the notes in an open G tuning?
On the guitar, from low to high, from the sixth string to the first string, it would be D, G, D, G, B, D.
D, G, D, G. What's the second string?
The second string would be B.
Oh, B, just as usual.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And E. So the two high strings are the same.
Oh, the high one is D.
Oh, D. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So you're only changing actually three of the six strings. The low two get tuned down to a D and a G respectively, and the high one gets tuned down to a D.
Gives you a nice chord right there.
Very much so. Yep.
Now, how is it different playing in an open tuning? Is there an advantage to that, you think? Or?
I think there are some advantages. One is that you can your fretting hand is no longer responsible for having to fret bass notes so much. So for example, now I can play kind of an alternating bass line like this without having to actually fret a chord. So you can start to do things like it frees up your fingers a little bit to not have to worry about so much.
Yeah.
So
you don't have to press down as many strings to make a chord as you would.
Exactly.
Standard tuning. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I mean, there's infinite numbers of open tunings. I think. I mean, I've heard like John Fahey. I assume you're familiar with John Fahey.
Sure.
A lot of people may not, but he was a well-known guitar player. Not so much now, but back in the probably 60s, 70s, 80s, who used a lot of open tunings very creatively.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep. He used he used open G a lot. He used open C and open D. Those three, open G, open D, and open C, are probably the three most common open tunings, but there are certainly other ones as well. And there are also a lot of what I sort of refer to as alternate tunings, which are tunings where you change the tuning of the guitar, but it doesn't necessarily form an open major chord. It might form, some other type of chord, or it might not form a specific chord in the player's mind at all. It might just be it's facilitating some sort of music that they have in their head that they want to play.
Yeah.
So, but you're absolutely right. There's an infinite number of possibilities when you start to mess around with the way the guitar is tuned.
Right. Yeah.
So.
You have something in open G for us then?
Sure thing. Yeah, I'll play a tune. This is actually a Hawaiian slack key guitar tune. Hawaiian slack key guitar is a style of guitar that comes from Hawaii that used a lot of open tunings and a lot of alternate tunings. In fact, there's a lot of sort of legends that certain families of musicians in Hawaii would kind of invent a tuning and then write a lot of music in that particular tuning, but keep the tuning secret so nobody could figure out exactly how they were doing it.
I think if you had a really good ear, you might, but maybe not. Maybe it's hard.
Yeah, so this particular tune, this is written by a guy named Sonny Chillingworth, and this is called Moa Ohane Dream Slack Key.